I cannot tell you like how personally sort of like distraught I am about the role that Bobby Kennedy is playing in this election. I think, look, Joe Biden is a very, very weak candidate at this point, as a function, really, in my estimation, of two things. One is he demoralized a lot of people. I don't know that from on a per vote basis, but as a second order issue, he demoralized a lot of activists in the Democratic Party because of his foreign policy, particularly as it pertains to Israel's ongoing ethnic cleansing, genocide, starvation of Palestinians in Gaza. And then the second one, of course, is that he is extremely, it's not a question of old. I mean, Bernie Sanders is old. He is physically incapable of running a campaign. That's just, there's no doubt about it. I have no sense of whether he's capable of being president, because I'm not privy to what's going on behind closed doors. But in terms of running a campaign, he seems physically incapable of doing it because he can't even get into an interview and do anything except for essentially come out bragging that I'm the guy who didn't poop my pants during the interview, so I'm perfectly good.
Let's talk about his last.
Incredible. Let's talk about the future.
Putting that aside, Kennedy is poised now, in many respects, to completely aid Donald Trump's presidential aspirations. And there's a story out in by the AP. Libertarians want to put Kennedy on the ballot in Colorado. They have been explicit about wanting Trump to win. And one of the ways they're going to do that is by putting Bobby Kennedy on their ballot line. He, of course, has solicited them for this. Cornell West. Listen to this. Well, we'll get into Cornell West in a moment. But Bobby Kennedy,
this is a leaked video.
This is a leaked video of Kennedy apparently calling Donald Trump. I don't know who shot this video. It's sort of amazing that it leaked. But here is that video.
I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system. And, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that is like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this. And do you ever see the size of it, right? It's this massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do something. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy. And, he's interesting. It was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? So I guess that people see, if I was looking straight on, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people.
Pause it for 1 second. I just, first off, there's a couple of things that are striking about this. One is Trump is referencing their talk back in 2016 when Kennedy visited Trump at Trump Tower to talk about vaccinations. Now, Donald Trump has not seen any babies that have changed. He hasn't seen any babies, period.
He barely sees his own adult children.
Of course, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But he's basically telling Kennedy, we can work together after the election, and I'm going to win. Now, Kennedy, despite the fact that he's going out there saying that he's going to win, when Donald Trump says, I'm going to win, he doesn't even give a good-natured, I'm I'm going to win.
Hey, no, hey, we'll make this interesting.
What are you talking about? Haha. I'm still in the race, Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump, as if he's not aware of the fact that Bobby Kennedy lost both his father and his uncle to an assassination, is joking about how lucky he was.
Oh, I mean,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
That doesn't
Just
even
go back
enter his mind. But this is, I didn't even realize, I guess this was, I hadn't heard the part yet about him referencing the bullet being,
this is
hitting him. So this was within the
days.
last 48 hours or 72, whatever.
Yeah. Go back a little bit.
How did you choose to move to the right? So I guess that's, people say, if I was looking straight on, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country, right? But I just turned my head to show the chart, and something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going around. What do they call that, an AR-15 or something? That was a big gun. Those are pretty tough guns, right?
He has no awareness. I mean, this is the kind of guy that I don't think he... Do you think he does the thing where you take turns when you're talking to somebody and let them talk about themselves a little bit? Do you think that's
a little bit.
Donald Trump's...
So Bobby agrees with the migrants pouring over our border stuff, I take it?
So they're on...
But the real thing that comes out of this, I mean, aside from Trump being sort of gross, is Kennedy knows what role he's playing here. If he's already negotiating with Donald Trump about a role in his administration, and he's not even responding when Trump says, I'm going to win. I mean, Republican mega donor Timothy Mellon donated $25 million to a super PAC committee supporting Kennedy. Other major pro-Trump donors have followed suit, including Lila Centener, who donated $1 million to the Kennedy super PAC, as well as arch-conservative donor Elizabeth Uline. The Ulines are their fingers are in every conservative Republican endeavor. Donated a couple thousand to him. The Libertarian Party is letting him use its ballot line. Quote, the idea is we could essentially leverage this to make a swing state situation and become real viable players, Goodman said in an interview. I'm tired of living under a Democratic monopoly. I mean, I was capable of believing that Kennedy at one point thought he could become president. Do I agree with his policies? Maybe 40% now. I don't know. He's become much more libertarian than when I used to work with him. But it is despicable to me if he knows what role he's playing at this point for him to stay in the race.
Pull this up. I mean, I want to pull this up every single time we talk about this photo of him with Roger Stone, who's a Trump strategist,
and Flynn,
psycho, and Michael Flynn, who is basically the Pope of the QAnon movement. Roger Stone has been quoted, and this doesn't get enough coverage, talking about RFK Jr. He had said basically, and he called a potential Trump Kennedy ticket a quote dream before, and they've been photographed together, and clearly they're on chatty terms, him and RFK. They're calling each other up to talk.
I mean, I'm not like it's
maybe RFK called him after the attempt, but either way, this isn't as was described with the Biden-Trump phone call after the assassination attempt, which was a cordial, short exchange. That makes sense when you're talking to your political rival, someone you're competing against. That's not the tenor of this conversation.
I don't begrudge him calling Trump when he was assassinated, attempted and assassinated, particularly based upon, Kennedy's experience with political assassination. I mean, I don't know if there's really, many people more situated to respond to something like this. But what is really clear from this, and here we should just put this up just so that you know that it's not like some type of AI fake. When President Trump called me, I was taping an in-house videographer. I should have ordered the videographer to stop recording immediately. I'm mortified this was posted. I apologize to the president. It's you should apologize to yourself because
Super Bowl ad.
because this makes it absolutely 100% clear to me as someone who, at the very least, was giving Bobby the benefit of the doubt that he thought that there was some path for him. And, you know, take pictures with whoever you want if you think you're going to be president. I mean, like, but it is quite clear he knows exactly what he's doing, which is enabling Donald Trump to become president. And that means the destruction of the EPA. That means the destruction of the FDA. That means destruction of the National Labor Relations Board. That means all this antitrust stuff goes out the window.
The Supreme Court.
That means the Supreme Court for generations will be right wing. Bobby cares about access to the courts. Forget about it. He cares about the environment. Forget about it. Corporate control of the EPA. Are you kidding me? Donald Trump's first head of the EPA, his only qualifications was that he kept suing the EPA to prevent EPA from doing its job.
Bobby's changed his rhetoric on that. He'd said climate change can be solved through capitalism. I mean, this is not something that he's been moving away from this and moving towards this before. Like recently.
But this is like proof positive.
Exactly.
That Bobby Kennedy is maintaining his race for one reason and one reason only. He sees the polls, and just let Donald Trump tell him, you and I can do something after the election. I'm going to beat this guy. And Kennedy just,
Yeah. August of last year, Roger Stone said of RFK Jr.'s presidential run, if I had any money, I'd send him a contribution. I think it will help in the end soften Joe Biden up for his defeat by Donald
That
Trump.
was in the primary. And now he's just going to siphon votes from him in the general.
So, but that's how far back that goes. That
Sure.
was photographed back then too. It's just,
I thought that Bobby at one point was running to become his running mate.
it is,
That was speculation. Now we have proof.
I mean, this is just incredible narcissism by Bobby Kennedy. Incredible narcissism, because when we're looking at, and Biden needs to step aside, but it's also a reality that RFK is doing this purposefully. When you look at Wisconsin, polling with a three-way polling with him up, siphoning off 8 points, and the analysis shows that a majority of those points are being taken away from Biden, and Biden's down by multiple points now in Wisconsin, which should be a layup for Democrats, particularly after there has been this effort within the Wisconsin State Supreme Court to redistrict and to make the map like gerrymander it in a way that's more favorable to Democrats after Republicans just completely mangled it on their behalf. It's unconscionable. But I don't know what his mindset is. I don't know how. I mean,
now we know.
it seems like he has some sort of hero complex. It's bizarre.
Now we know. While we're at it, in that same AP report about Kennedy, Cornell West's campaign has been largely sort of absent. At the beginning of June, West has been largely absent from the campaign trail. His political operation was $30,000 in debt, disclosures show. He had spent just $2,400 this year to gather the signatures needed to qualify for the ballot in states across the U.S. But then Justice for All, that's his campaign organization, submitted well over 13,000 signatures needed. State government emails obtained by the Associated Press show current and former employees of Blitz Canvassing, a Republican firm that earned millions of dollars doing work for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, to help West pull off the feat. The emails, previously reported by NBC News, show employees affiliated with Blitz Canvassing were the designated representatives to pick up and drop off petitions for West's campaign. It's unclear who paid the firm because it's not listed as a paid vendor in West campaign finance reports. Now, here's the point. If you're running a campaign to get a message across, then get out on the campaign trail, dedicate your resources towards that. But if Republicans are running your entire petition campaign to get on the ballot, I got news for you. You're not going to win. If you can't set up a campaign to get petitions to get on a ballot, you're not going to win. And you're only going to be drawing votes away from Biden. Maybe you'll get some votes that otherwise people wouldn't have voted. But if you're drawing any votes from Biden in this situation, and I want Biden to step down, it's a problem.
I mean, just
the
look,
GOP linked, it's unclear who paid the firm. Like I say, the GOP linked signature collection effort on West's behalf isn't limited to North Carolina. Signature gatherers in a suburban Washington were witnessed asking people in a Target parking lot to sign a petition to get Donald Trump off the ballot. According to NBC4, the signatures are actually being collected to help get West on the Virginia ballot. One of the workers said they would be handed off to the state Republican Party, the TV station reported. Last month, more than 80 paid out-of-state signature gatherers descended in the battleground state of Arizona to collect signatures for West, state records show. Many of the workers listed Wells Marketing, a mysterious Missouri limited liability company, as their employer. The company didn't respond to a request for comment, is closely affiliated with Mark Jacoby, a signature gathering operative from California with long-standing reputation for using deceptive tactics, who was convicted in 2009 of voter registration fraud. In 2020, Jacoby worked to gather signatures to place the rapper Ye, known formerly as Kanye West, on the ballot. Jacoby's firm was investigated for using dubious signatures gathering tactics during a 2020 petition drive in Michigan that sought to roll back some of Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer's emergency powers during the coronavirus pandemic. He was accused in 2008 of tricking voters into registering with the California Republican Party by telling them they were signing an initiative to strengthen penalties for child molesters. In 2006, signature gatherers told Massachusetts lawmakers Jacoby instructed them to use deceptive tactics. I mean, Jesus. Talk about two people who I respected burning up their reputation. And for what?
Yeah.
Well, I know in Bobby's case, it's obviously now to get a job in the Trump administration.
Jesus Christ. And the reality for both of these guys is, if we want to talk about creating a viable third party in this country, it's not going to begin with some guy at the top of a presidential ticket or some woman at the top of a presidential ticket. You have to build from the ground up, and that takes quite a while. But if you're interested more in, paying your bills or getting in a position in the Trump administration, then perhaps those considerations aren't at the top of your mind. Like Ross Perot got nearly 19% of the popular vote. You want to know how many electoral college votes this guy got? 0.
Did it impact the election?
Nothing. Because that's not our system. You need to get electoral college votes. Tell me the path for Cornell West. Tell me the path for RFK Jr. to win electoral college votes in this country. Enough electoral college votes? Give me a break. So you have to understand that our system is not set up at this current juncture for these kinds of runs. All they serve is to serve as spoilers, to Sam's point. There's no other way to slice it. And with Biden faltering so aggressively right now, these runs become even more and more important in terms of keeping Trump out of office. And to remind people of the stakes, we said the Supreme Court there. Alito's wife said in that recording, statute of limitations, 5 years for defamation, ha ha ha, meaning her plan and their plan is to retire once Trump gets into office And that means Trump's going to appoint if he gets into office, a 40-year-old or something like that, some Heritage Foundation freak or even further right than that, who's going to be able to take up and cement conservative control for the Supreme Court for more than the decades that they've already cemented it.
I mean, Cornell, it's a shame to say, but I see two things come out. One, he has a relationship with Harlan Crow, a billionaire, and two, he's got a number of debts, and I think that might be a motivator on that. And I've always said, like, if you're in a safe state and you're going to do a third-party vote, do at least like a socialist organization, like someone who's actually building something. And I frankly wouldn't reward the Greens because the Greens have been around all my life and haven't capitalized on this duopoly that they can, elaborate the problem of. I think it's I don't think they're doing nearly as much as maybe socialists operating on, Democratic Party ticket. But
Jonathan Armstead on the IM. Today's 25th anniversary of JFK Jr.'s death. I don't think Bobby Jr. knows what his family meant to Black America. I think he does. I mean, RFK in particular. The day John Jr. died, I got a call from my mom. John Jr. was JFK's son, Bobby's first cousin. The day John Jr. died, I got a call from my mom. I was a freshman at college orientation, and she told me that she was sad because she thought in the 60s that the Kennedy family would save black folks single-handedly. Now Bobby Jr. is helping to hand the election to a man who's refused to ever apologize to the Central Park Five. I mean, it really is.
It's a cynical use of that legacy.
Yeah, it really is.
And
Hey,
his siblings
at least
agree.
his one campaign issue is null now that he's got Secret Service protection.
Yeah.
Don't have to hear about that anymore.
Really upsetting. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.